Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. The Hulk Hogan apology tour has started its rollout the other day. TMZ caught up with Hulk Hogan as he was walking the streets, asking him questions about what went down with him and WWE, and what would happen between him and Vince McMahon if they ran into each other, things like that. It was sort of rolling off the tongue in cheek, sort of just you're getting that funny interview out of the way, which TMZ does, but. Hulk Hogan sat down today with his first nationally televised appearance, talking with Good Morning America today about everything that happened back in July, with the racist statements being rolled out. We still don't know who was it who let this statement go. Basically, it came down to the Gawker trial, which is going down with the sex tape, and some people say that this is Gawker letting the sex tape loose because they're trying to embarrass Hulk Hogan to the point of a judge would be able to say that he's embarrassed himself enough with these statements that his level of celebrity isn't devalued by the sex tape being released out a few years ago, basically trying to make it where their settlement at the end of the case would be less, because he's not some super huge megastar of the 80s anymore. He's just a guy who's run out of bad luck, and he's trying to cash in on something that went down. No doubt in my mind, I think that Hulk Hogan did not know that he was being taped. There was a little part of my mind that basically was thinking that Hulk Hogan did this as sort of a ploy, trying to get himself out there a little bit more. We'll release a sex tape. It's not going to be really that embarrassing. We'll cash in. We'll sell it. They'll put it on DVD and they'll sell it around the world in sex shops, and we'll make a lot of money out of it. But it turns out that I think his buddy really did go behind his back, screw him over, and he tried to cash in on Hulk Hogan, which didn't work out in the long run. One thing leads to another. Because of these statements, I don't find any fault in what WWE did. Some people say that Hulk Hogan actually went to WWE knowing that this was going to be bad when it rolled out, and actually asked for he put in his leave of absence, basically saying that he was going to be leaving WWE, making it where WWE didn't have to fire him. One thing leads to another. WWE and Hulk Hogan separate. WWE wants no part of Hulk Hogan as of right now. I think there's going to come a time when the stink wears off and Hogan's back in, maybe not at the same capacity that he once was. But on the interview on Good Morning America today, Hulk Hogan said that he was not a racist. He does admit that he never should have said what he said. What he said was wrong, and he was embarrassed by it. Of course, these are the things that he said about the person that Brooke, his daughter, was dating at the time. This was the transcript that got released from the sex tape during just a casual conversation between Bubba the Love Sponge's wife and Hulk Hogan, the one that was involved in the tape that came out. He did break out a card that I was sort of surprised that Hogan would break out, because this is a story that's already been released. Hulk Hogan, talked about this on his documentary that came out while he was involved in TNA. It was made under the Eric Bischoff watch. And I can't even remember what network showed the documentary, but it showed Hogan as a broken down 80s star and sort of living off of his fame of the 80s, and he was going to TNA to try and cash in on what they were going down. Looking back on it, it didn't really portray Hulk Hogan in the greatest light. And even though it was made by his buddy Eric Bischoff and Harvey, I don't think it made him look good. I don't think it made TNA look good. It did give some, behind the scenes things that you might not have known about Hulk Hogan and his divorce from his wife and how much he lost. But it just showed that, that Hogan was down on his luck. He had gotten remarried. And he was trying to rebuild his life back once together, but even in Hulk Hogan's mind, he was a broken man. And this is what he talked about. He told Good Morning America that he was suicidal, He was at the lowest point of his life, and he wanted to kill himself. This is what he talked about on the interview. He said that basically he was in the bathroom. He had stuck in a gun in his mouth, and he was ready to blow his brains out when Tatiana Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter, the co-host of American Gladiators 2000 on NBC, called him just to see, what was going on. And I believe during the interview, Tatiana talked that she didn't know what was going on with Hulk. She didn't know that he was in the bathroom with a gun in his mouth. She just said some things that brought to life the Hulk Hogan, that there was more to live than what was going on right now. You might be having a bad day today, but it's going to be a good day tomorrow. I just don't see how this really fits in. It's sort of like Hulk Hogan was throwing himself a pity party on Good Morning America. He was already crying, but him being suicidal a few years ago has nothing to do with the fact that, he was throwing the N-word around and he was saying something that shouldn't have ever been said. And what it comes down to, if he never would have said it, he still would be the Hulk Hogan that we knew of the day before this tape got released. He'd be the fun-loving, cartoonish Hulk Hogan that'd still be a part of WWE and be a bright spot in everybody's childhood. It just sucks that he said these things, because if he never would have said it, then the tape never would have got made and never would have been released. And, this is why he's in the spot that he's in today. Hogan asked everyone to forgive him, saying that he is a nice guy. I will tell you that I've met Hulk Hogan twice in my life. I've met him once at a WWE Access event where, he was, on the job. He was Hulk Hogan. And then I saw another one when I met him after the WrestleMania 31 ticket release party in San Jose, where, he was in San Jose. He was doing media. He was doing interviews. He hosted a party. He honestly worked for probably at least 15 to 20 hours, 2 days in a row, doing the daytime, morning talk shows, doing the, radio interviews, sitting down with reporters from around the country that were in San Jose, talking about how big WrestleMania was going to be there. He worked and he talked and he was on call basically that whole day in a car, driving from place to place around the city. And when I ran into Hulk at the end of the day, he didn't have to stop and talk to me. He didn't have to sign an autograph. He didn't have to take a picture. But Hogan did. I do believe that Hogan is a nice guy. I think that, Hogan said something that he never should have said. Even if he didn't say it, for somebody to say it, it has to be in your mind. So, I mean, it just sucks. I mean, he's one of my heroes. I can't honestly say that I forgive him and I'm past it. I was brought up as basically saying that this is a word that shouldn't exist. It's too hateful of a word, and basically by using this word, we're never going to be able to come together as one. And I don't know what Hogan's going to do to try and fix this, but it seems to me the more that Hogan talks and the more that Hogan is in the limelight, either on Twitter or doing these news shows, it's not making it any better. Hogan needs to just go home, and he needs to just live his life and let time pass in this world, with TMZ and everything like that. Another celebrity's going to mess up. They're going to do something bigger, and then after that's done, another celebrity's going to mess up. And, it never gets forgotten. But since, it's not the last tragedy that happened to one of these stars, it's not fresh on everyone's mind, because Us Weekly, National Enquirer, they have to put out a publication every week. TMZ has to have a main story to bring people to the website every day. So it's constantly revolving circles. So we'll see where we go from here. But I don't think Hogan is forgiven yet. But this is one of the first steps that's probably going to get him to the point where he gets back to being somehow involved with WWE.